Hello, everyone. Dr. Sue here, and I am very excited about a conversation that we're going to have today. We are going to be in a conversation about the intuitive and about what it means to truly find the essential self and the voice of that essential self in action. It comes along the lines of trusting your gut or being in the flow or allowing your gifts to come through the channel that we each are. And as a means of bringing to you examples of how this works, I am interested in a series of interviews and conversations and bringing things forward to you that you will be able to sense and feel this for yourselves. So each of us has a tremendous gift. We are made of original medicine. We are the universe compressed into a funnel, into a channel that is here, revealing itself to whatever degree as we get out of the way with our protective personalities. And as we do get out of the way, we allow for something to emerge that is truly intended to emerge. And it is why we came. It is that important and that significant. And so sometimes it means we have to unlearn. Sometimes it means we have to let go of things that we were taught or things that were modeled for us as we were growing up and developing and stepping out into the world in whatever ways that we have. Sometimes it means that we have to trust that gut feeling that actually sometimes feels anxious or like it is struggling. And no matter how it presents for you, my intention is to teach you how to trust it, because it is the real you trying to emerge. And so I have with me today someone in our community and a beloved member of our community, Krissy-Ellis, and she is in Germany, and I am in the United States in this moment, and we're coming together to have a bit of a conversation for you to be able to hear another example of how this can unfold. So Krissy is an expert in several things regarding bioenergetics and energy medicine, and that didn't come by years and years of training per se for that. However, something began to unfold in her as she was studying a lot of different modalities and finding herself immersed in this world of science and energy combined. And what I really want to emphasize is a process that she went through to create something that ended up being a healing modality that I have personally used and have had great results with, and had some experience enough that I wanted to bring that forward to you as well. My primary reason for having this conversation with you is for you to recognize, so listen closely to the process that we each go through that allows us to trust some deep internal gift that we are here to bring, whether it ends up resulting in a product, such as something that I'm going to share with you in a little bit, or it simply becomes a solution in a relationship or in a dynamic circumstance in your workplace or in your home life that begins to change the life experience that you're having. It can also apply, of course, to your physical health in all sorts of ways, mentally, emotionally, and physically, ailment and emotional circumstances, which we will get into as well. So first, I'd like to welcome our friend. Many of you will recognize her, Krissy-Ellis. Welcome, Krissy.
Hi, Dr. Sue. So good to talk to you.
Yes, it's always great to be with you. And I'm so appreciative of you being willing to come forward and, just have a little bit of a conversation, not just about this amazing product that you have created, but really about the process of allowing medicine to come through us. We are each original medicine. And so, I'd like for you to just kind of explain a little bit, just briefly, about the process that you went through that allowed you to align with the idea that, wow, there's something here that I really need to put together. So if you could just start talking a little bit about how did all this start for you, and then I'll direct it in any way that I think that our audience might be really interested in hearing more about.
Happily. So I think it started for me the way it starts for so many of us when I had to deal with some issues that needed solution. When I was a teenager and young adult, I had severe depression and a ton of allergies, and doctors couldn't help me anymore. So I had to look for alternatives. And soon after I started looking, I found an exceptional healing practitioner and kinesiologist And when after years of treatment that didn't do anything, one session, all of my allergies were gone, I was so amazed and fascinated by what I had learned was not possible, but by harmonizing and enabling the energy flow between body, mind, and spirit had just happened. That set me to the absolute need and drive to understand this at a deeper level. That was when my path started going a very different way than I had planned as a young adult. So I started to learn many different healing modalities. I started transpersonal psychology. I dug into quantum science. So my mind always needed to understand why this weird stuff that it had learned was not possible could work. And a large part of my work, and in my learning, was to keep my mind so busy and happy and convinced that yes, all of this impossible stuff was possible, that I dare say of the decades of learning that I did do, the most important part was not all the modalities and the knowledge, but the unlearning of the old paradigm of the limitations of what was real and possible and way out there and could never, ever happen. So that for me was the biggest and most important learning and part of the development. And although I have created such incredible things in the meantime, and have tons of experience of what seemed impossible and happened, that is still part of the process I am. I still have parts of my mind that continuously need convincing that there's more and more and more, and there is no limit to what we can do.
Yeah, I think that this is one of the biggest obstacles for humanity, is that we have a sense about life and possibility, and there's a vibrational frequency associated with that we can feel inside of us. And whether we're aware of it or not, it's our honing device, it's our home base. And it's a truth that sometimes is more profound than the one we're looking at in the outer world, or it's more profound than what we're being told is possible. And it just doesn't line up for us. And so our process in the course of this life is to learn how to align that. How do I align this internal sensation of wholeness and possibility and the infinite? How do I align that with what's happening in this outer world? And you began to tap into that. I've tapped into that, and that's what I'm teaching people around the world how to do. You began to tap into it for yourself as well. And a natural byproduct of that is that you listened, you put these pieces together, and then you ended up creating a product that happened to be a healing device as well. So that is kind of an aside. That's kind of like awesome. Yeah. It could have resulted in the healing of a relationship. It could have resulted in the healing of back pain for yourself, or it could have resulted in changing your work dynamic, or being able to ask for the raise that you knew that you deserved, or leaving the company altogether and starting your own thing type of assertion. And so what I want everyone to realize is that what we're talking about right here is that moment, those moments where we find the voice, we find that essence, and we allow it to matter. We allow it to come forth and construct something in our lives. And so, Krissy, what I'd love for you to do is just speak a little bit about your internal process. Like, what did it feel like when your mind was hearing certain things and there was something going on inside of you that wasn't allowing that limitation to be your reality? Something had to give right there. Something had to switch places or shift in some way. And can you just speak into anything that was happening for you that you might be able to share, and then therefore guide some of our viewers into that same experience for themselves?
I think really important was the very first problem that I had to find solutions for, to accept that and to never ever give up, because once you start looking for solutions where there don't seem to be any, your intuition will guide you to where you will find what seemed not to be available before. So embracing what is and moving with that to find possibilities that did not seem to exist is a very important part, I believe, or has been in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling mostly was conflict, because my mind would say this way, and my feeling and intuition would say, nope, not working, we got to go this way. And then the mind, so there was constantly this going here, going there, no, not going there, a lot of conflict between what I had learned and between what my intuition said. That was partially why it was so helpful to learn so many modalities and to study so much that allowed the mind to believe, because my mind got very scared, to believe and to relax into, well, okay, maybe, yeah, maybe. So it was for me a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, a lot of the outside saying, no, that's not possible, no way, can't do that, won't work. But to continuously move forward and to say, okay, let me try this, let me do this. And in truth, whenever I did not follow my guidance, I would get sick. That's why I developed the allergies and many other things that I'm not going to go into. But as soon as I followed my feeling, was true to not the emotion, that's a very short-lived thing, but the true deep feeling that was my guidance.
So this was
life
like
went so much smoother.
This was like a gut feeling, something happening inside of you that just kept moving you in this direction, even though your mind was logically saying, I need to move in this direction. This is what I'm being told. This is my external reality. There was something pressing you in a different direction. Is that?
It was a drawing. It was like the problems or the sickness or whatever it was put on the pressure, but the solution would always draw me. So it was a push and draw, so to say.
Mm. Yeah, so just what I want everyone to realize is that we each have these conflicted states, and there is always something from our past that is keeping us in this conflicted state. And when we step into true state, when we step into true self, there is this push-pull, this magnetization in a direction that is just calling you to unfold into some experience and some expression. Something is trying to emerge, and it will almost always feel like a conflict, like a rub, like friction happening. So when you're finding yourselves caught in a friction moment, I want you to remember this conversation that we're having here. Yet again, another example of that moment winning by allowing this internal realm to have a greater voice than it's had before. And a byproduct of it is we end up having a magical life experience. Now, inside of your magical life experience, Krissy, I know that you've created some healing modality aids that allow for the energies, the very energies that we're talking about right now, to begin to align and become more robust and to surface for people. So ironically, the same thing kind of happened for me when I was discovering what I needed to do to align with this highest self version of me that lit up in my consciousness. What I began to do to help myself align and embody and integrate is what I ended up gifting the world, teaching other people how to do. And that became the energy codes, which became Mortar Institute and everything that we're doing here. And you've done something kind of similar in this way, that the very things that you were needing to work on for yourself created a gift that you kind of can offer to the world as well. And so it comes in the form of these amazing little patches, which which have different focuses and different impacts on our physical system through the biofield, through the energy field.
Yep.
And I'd like for you to just speak a little bit about how what we've been talking about parlayed its way into something physical that you could put on the body that would create an energetic shift for someone, for yourself or someone else.
But different things came together for that. Fundamental, of course, was the understanding of what you so brilliantly teach in so many ways, and what quantum physics tells us, that we are energy, maybe vibrating at different frequencies and density, but still energy. And in my work as a transpersonal coach, helped by my inheritance of being able to clearly see and feel energy patterns and what's going on with people, I found that the most effective and easiest, fastest, and most gentle change was done at this very fundamental level of our existence and being, at this level of energy patterns, true self. So then I also had the experience that I saw very similar subtle energy patterns being repeated over and over with so many people that I worked with. And it became very obvious how each was related to specific issues people were struggling with. So I became very familiar with these patterns. And funnily enough, though, what really sparked the idea of the quantum products was food poisoning. As you said, needing to help myself. When I woke up in the middle of the night, way too sick to help myself or to do any energetic work, but miserably wishing I had somehow canned my ability to just, easily shift something like that, that was when the idea of the quantum products were born. So afterwards, I followed my intuition and developed a way to externalize some of the quantum shifts, some of the patterns I had seen with my clients and myself, and to make this shift or these shifts available to anybody at any time, the quantum shift to go. And those are the patches you hold. So many things came together, but primarily I really wanted to be able to help myself when I really needed. So yes, very similar.
And this is the medicine that we are. We each have within us what we need to resolve the issues that are presenting in our lives. We are each made of the medicine that will meet the issue that we attract into our lives, because that issue being attracted into our lives is how we begin to stir the pot and allow this creative energy to meet the demands of the need. So necessity is the mother of invention is a perfect way to reference this here, that you were needing to address something that was going on in your life, and a byproduct of you addressing it, you created and manifested something that not only is beneficial to you, it's beneficial to the tribe. It's beneficial to all of us. And the same happened in my life. And this is what happens when we allow this inner voice to surface and to come and to reveal itself. And so I want everyone watching to realize that whatever issues you are facing, there is something inside of you that wants to emerge and surface. And as it does, to meet the need of this issue of friction in your life, it births a part of you that you maybe never would have known had you not had the circumstances occurring as they were. And a byproduct of that is you will bring the medicine into your life, just as I have, just as Krissy has. We are all meant to be doing this. And so what we hope to do is help each other do that process. We hope to help each other find buoyancy in that process within this life experience. And so I teach the energy codes to allow people to learn that, and all the other coursework that I teach to allow people to align and to trust. And what I love about what has come forward through Krissy is that it also helps facilitate the perfect environment in which we can trust, the perfect environment in which that inner voice can come up and come out and come through. And so I just love the fact that we're able to collectively help one another around the world in this way. So I'd love, Krissy, for you to share just a little bit more about the patches specifically. I know that you've done some research, and if we can just throw some things up on the screen, maybe even just show people some of the things that have happened because of you listening within, and just to help validate for people, wow, there's some real evidence that listening within can serve even me, no matter what it is that we're wrestling with.
That's a wonderful.
So maybe a little screen share you guys can do on your end,
sure
and pop
can.
some of
Sure
that evidence
can.
up for us.
There we go. So
Excellent.
we were looking for a lab that would be able to truly show the effects of the patches. And what you see here is one of the results of the Power Booster patch that will raise your energy to its healthy maximum for 5 hours after 20 minutes. So this was a person that was in not very good energetic shape, as you can see on the left side. And on the right side, you can see how much his energy changed after just 20 minutes. So that's a fun picture, because you can clearly see how much has changed in such a short time. The next picture is what I found truly interesting, because on the left side, it's a health diagram, and you can read exactly which organ is in under energy, optimal energy, or maybe even over energy. Although again, with this person, mostly under energy. Anything within the pink inner circle is way too little energy. And again, after 20 minutes of the Power Booster, you can see that everything is in the green, which is the ideal. That result kind of harmonizing. Actually, pardon?
So it's kind of harmonizing things and allowing organ systems and glands to function, to communicate with one another and find this harmonious balance in the body.
Yes, it does. And you can beautifully see how the system, how the body's intelligence uses it to draw the energy just where it's perfect and where it needs it. And after I saw this result, was the first time that I dared give my 94-year mom the Power Booster, because I never was sure if it was maybe too strong. But all the results have shown that these are so perfectly aligned with your own system's intelligence that they will only give you the maximum healthy amount of power for you at that moment.
Yeah, excellent.
And one more that most people will be familiar with is where you can see the virtual chakra. You've probably seen this before with other people. And same person, on the left side, you see how out of line some of the chakras are and how small they are, which means under energy. And again, after 20 minutes of the Power Booster, you see how almost perfectly all the chakras are aligned. So the Power Booster and all the patches align you in the central channel, exactly what you teach, Dr. Sue. Mm-hmm. And you can also see how the chakras are energized again.
Beautiful.
So whenever you feel with the Power Booster, whenever you feel low energy, tired, or you need to really perform, like we have lots of athletes that just love the patches because they've broken many records using the patches, or to prepare, or just, you know, our next door neighbor who's a hardworking mom and her 2 boys wear her out, but she wants to go out for a nice dinner with her husband. So she puts on a power patch and enjoys her dinner instead of falling asleep at the restaurant table. There's many different possibilities for this.
Excellent. Okay, let's bring this back into stopping that screen share so we can get back in here. Excellent. So, you know, thank you so much for sharing this. And what I really want people to get is that, so this woman had an issue. She listened to a conflict within. she reached inside and started following something that led her to the creation, given the things that she had been exposed to in her life, which was she was drawn to lots of different modalities and healing techniques and technologies. And the culmination of that information in the face of this conflict allowed for her to develop something that was going to help her stabilize her life circumstance. And as it turned out, it started being available to help other people as well. And so in any of your lives, you may have been gathered or attracted to certain topics in your life. Maybe those topics seem scattered, like for certain years you were doing this, for other years in your life you've been doing this, another issue brought something forward. And I really want to invite you to look for the common ground. Krissy looked for the common ground in what she was learning through all these courses that she was taking, or these research projects that she was engaged in. She looked for the common denominator of what is this trying to present through my life? And it ended up resulting in a beautiful healing modality. For me, it ended up resulting in a beautiful healing modality and a series of courses that I share with you all the time. For you, it might result in something similar. It might result in something completely different, but a solution in your life that you were meant to bring, that you were meant to come here and discover. And that's the point. You know, what we want to do is to learn to trust that inner voice in such a fashion that it ends up resulting in a transformation in our lives. It just so happens that the conversation that we're getting to have today, it resulted in a transformation in Krissy's life that also resulted in some products that I, of course, would love for you guys to be aligned with. You know, when we reach to something from the outside to help us, it is a facilitation in a process that is deeply rooted from the inside out. So it's important that you realize that we're not saying you use these patches and it heals you. What we're saying is that you use these patches and it helps facilitate you healing yourself. It starts to facilitate and create an environment in which the healing power within you can find itself and can reveal. And so, Krissy, how can people find you and have access to these patches? I want people to be able to find them. How do they do that, no matter where they are in the world?
If you go to the website, www.beyondmatters.com.
Beyondmatters.com. Mm-hmm.
Beyondmatters.com. That's the easiest way to find us.
Okay, excellent. So, everyone, what I want you to get is this. There's medicine inside of you, and it's time for that to come up and out. We need it on this planet at this time like never before. And all of the things that I can do to help you do that are all of the things that I'm interested in doing. And so when we find ourselves on subject, when we find ourselves aligned in the central channel, when we find ourselves building the circuitry so that the soulful self can emerge, we are becoming a more beneficial presence on this planet. And when I come across things that are beneficial in that process, like learning how to eat, learning how to take care of yourselves, learning conscious exercise like body awake yoga, learning how to support yourselves with loving people around you inside of our community. And of course, doing things like what we're hearing about today through what Krissy developed along the way are always beneficial and a part of what it is that we need to be doing to reveal this true magnificence. Now, I don't get anything from you participating with Beyond Matters in these patches, and it's completely just through the desire on my part to align you with your highest self that I would ever speak into something like this. So know that, and know that those are available to you to help you harmonize your system in all ways possible. I have found it beneficial in my life, and so I'm passing it on to you as well. Thank you, Krissy, for being here and for sharing with us this most valuable process of looking within and allowing this inner wisdom to rise in all ways possible. Thank you for being an example of that in the world and for blessing our community with your gifts as well. So
Thank you.
blessings to you all. Thank you, Krissy, again for being here. Any last words that you'd like to share?
I'm very grateful for the opportunity to share and to remind everybody to trust their own feelings, their own inner guidance, and just for being part of the community. So thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. And let's dive in, okay? And stay in, right? Staying on subject, the greatest gift we can bring to the planet. Much love, everyone. We'll talk
Bye.
soon.